as I mentioned in my Cowboys versus Zombies review, I had mentioned something about if they ever made a ninjas versus giant robot movie, I'd totally go see it. And that got me thinking of some of the things I used to do. I'm probably not the first person to ever do this, but there was a show on Spike TV, and I doubt it's on anymore, but it was called Deadliest Warrior. And what this show was, quote, a scientifically realistic look about how two completely diverse cultures or fighters would match up in a fight. You know, it's the age-old question. Astronaut versus caveman, or the most popular I think now is like the matchup of the century. Pirates versus ninjas. I personally think ninjas and giant robots would be 10 times better, but if you ever watched Deadliest Warrior, I had only seen a few of them. They're far from what I would call scientific. They would match up like, what was it? I can't think of the top of my head. A pirate versus a ninja, or a knight from medieval times versus a Spartan, or an Apache warrior versus like a Marine or a Viking or something like that. And they would the show essentially was just them testing out the weapons and seeing like which one would hurt more. Like they would stab a pig carcass with a sword, like, oh well, he's dead. That would kill somebody. No fucking shit. And like they'd shoot a pig carcass with a cannon, like, oh, he's dead. Man, we killed the hell out of him. So, but they would get all of these. They would put all the scientific data, quote unquote, and then they'd have this mock fight, and the scientific data would determine who would win. Now, again, not to steal his thunder, Noah Antwiler, Spoonie, another really cool guy. Check out his stuff, Noah Antwiler and the Spoonie Experiment on YouTube. Really great stuff. But he had brought up this before with Deadliest Warrior, and he brought up some very good points, because there would be, okay, alright, pirates versus ninjas. I'll say this, he said it, and I'll basically reiterate it. If you fight a ninja in hand-to-hand combat, the ninja's not doing a good job. You're fighting a very bad ninja. If you're able to have a one-on-one confrontation with a ninja, he failed ninjutsu school, because ninjas, in their nature, by their nature, are assassins. They sneak in through the cover of darkness, in the shadows. They kill somebody, and they leave the exact same way they came in the shadows. Nobody is supposed to know they're there. A true ninja would be able to sneak up on me right now, plunge a katana through my throat, and leave. Just making sure. What else? They when they talked about the Apache, they even had a historian of Apache lore and their history. He even said the same thing. Like, I don't even know why we're doing this, because the Apache, by their very nature, were ambushers. They waited for their opportunity to strike. They knew they weren't going to fight an entire army of cavalry with guns, so they waited for their opportunity when they were at their weakest, like when they were sleeping, or when one of them got separated from their group. They attacked. They weren't stupid. They're not going to gum at you with a hand in a one-on-one fight. Why would they? When you could just sneak up and attack them when they're vulnerable. Same with a Spartan. Whether or not you fight a Spartan in hand-to-hand combat, that's one thing, but again, the very nature of a Spartan is that they fight as a unit. They fight as one. It's called the phalanx, the shield wall. If you've ever seen 300, the shield wall is a real thing. They would put their shields up and their spears in the groove of their shields, and it would create a wall that was virtually impenetrable by infantry. So your infantry is coming at you, you put up this shield wall, it'll hold them back, because that's how they do it in 300, and that's how they did it in that's how the real Spartans did it. The first wave of that shield wall would push back on the infantry, stab the infantry, and then the Spartans behind them would jump in front of them and put up another shield wall, and they continue to push back the enemy. So you would not fight a Spartan in hand-to-hand combat unless the phalanx failed. Because, again, the Spartans were trained to do that. The phalanx was their thing. If it failed, then maybe you'd be able to fight a Spartan in one-on-one combat. But very rarely did the phalanx fail, because siege weapons weren't a big thing back then. But, getting off my tirade, I've been drinking too much, but getting off my tirade about Deadliest Warrior, it was a stupid show, and it was good for a laugh once in a while, but then Spoonie came up with the idea. He was going to do something called Deadliest Character, where he would take characters from fiction and put them together, and he actually was going to animate everything. And the first one he ever did was Mechagodzilla versus the Megazord from Power Rangers. And sadly, he only did one episode of it because the animation took far too long and it was too time-consuming. He only did the one, so look that up. Look up Deadliest Character, Mechagodzilla versus the Megazord. It's actually a really cool thing. I wish he would have done more of them. But as he was doing this, I started brainstorming my own. I did my own Deadliest Characters. I'm sure a lot of people did. Of course, ninjas versus giant robots. That was my big thing. I always said if I got $1 million, or if they would allow me to finance a movie or let me do a movie, like, you know, money is no object. You can make whatever you want. I would make ninjas versus giant robots, or ninja versus giant robot. And I even had the storyline down perfectly. Like, the government would create the ultimate war machine, and it would, they say, like, this war machine is able to adapt to any type of fighting style, any type of warfare. Guns, it's impervious to guns. Anti-tank bullets, it's impervious to that. Whatever it is thrown at, it will immediately adapt and will be able to crush it. And they wouldn't think to use, like, a ninja, because, you know, honestly, what would a ninja do against, you know, a 16-foot tall giant robot? Pardon me. And of course, that's where the big fight would happen. Like the robot would go out of control, and it would, like, blow up the ninja's home or its school or something like that, and the ninja would vow revenge. And you'd have the big fight at the end, because the robot would try and adapt to, like, I have no idea what this is. Like, what the fuck is he doing? He's swinging a sword at me. Do I step on him? What do I do? Yeah, it'd be funny. I think it'd be hilarious. And it'd be cool to watch. You know, just picture Optimus Prime fighting Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. Ninja, giant robot. It works. But some of the other ones, I would ask this with everybody. I asked Ashley on our first date. I said, this is something I have to ask everybody that I meet for the first time. And it's a very, very serious question. And I looked right at her and I said, who would win in a fight? The Care Bears or the Smurfs? Yeah. That just blew your mind, didn't it? Care Bears versus the Smurfs. That'd be another movie I'd make. I had always said if I had the software for it, I would make a trailer, the movie trailer for 300. I would remake it with the Care Bears and the Smurfs. You know, I would have Papa Smurf be Leonidas from 300, and like Swift Heart Rabbit from the Care Bears would be the messenger. He'd be like, "This is madness," and Papa Smurf would look, "Madness. This is Smurf Village!" And kick him down the hole. Because I always pictured the Smurfs would be the Spartans because there's only 100 Smurfs at a time, so instead of 300, it's 100. And the Care Bears would form an alliance with like the Snorks or something. It writes itself. It's so funny. And of course, people would say, well, the Smurfs would probably win because they have the advantage. Because the Care Bears are all about, being nice and friendship, and they're pussies. And I would fire back, yeah, but the Care Bears also have magic, and I could see the Care Bears turning to black magic to fight the Smurfs. You could even write something where the Smurfs are suicide bombing the Care Bears. They're strapping, like, Jokey Smurf with the presents full of dynamite or the explosive package. Like, he hands them to the Smurfs, and the Smurfs go running towards him with his boxes. Like, ah! It writes itself. That would be so funny. What else? Oh my God, there were so many I had. I should have wrote them down. One of them was I had Superman versus God, and everybody seemed to have a big shit about that. Like, God would never fight. God would never fight Superman because he doesn't fight. That's just wrong. And to everybody who says that, fuck you. Okay? Seriously. Apparently, you don't get the joke, okay? I know God would never fight anybody. Of course, again, we are dealing with a religion that says God loves everybody, but if you don't listen to what he says, he's going to smite your stupid ass. One. But the reason why I said Superman versus God is because the joke was the fact that Superman is so godlike in his powers, because throughout the years Superman has been depicted as this demigod. Because I remember there was an article in one of my magazines that I read that they talked about like the top 10 stupidest Superman powers throughout comic books. One was where if he sneezed, he would destroy the solar system. So he literally had to go somewhere. He had to fly light years away from the Milky Way and sneeze in an unpopulated solar system, or else he would blow it all away. There was one where he could, what was it? He had like he had the metabolism of a sparrow, where he could constantly just keep eating. Like, I could finish off an entire cow myself, and I would still be hungry because I'm Superman. There's, of course, the mind-erasing kiss from the original movies where he kissed Lois Lane. She totally forgot he was Superman. So that's really what that whole thing was like. Superman is always depicted as a god, so he could fight a god. So he would fight God himself. Yeah, it goes back to the thing, like, if God could create anything, could he create a rock that he couldn't lift? So heavy he couldn't lift it. Something like that. Some other ones I had Optimus Prime fighting the Cobra Kai Dojo from the Karate Kid. I would love to see that. I could see, what's his name? John Kreese was his name, the leader of the Cobra Kai Dojo. He'd be like, "Mercy is for the weak. A man confronts you, he is the enemy. An enemy deserves no mercy. What the hell is that? It's a giant robot. Kill it!" If you think about it, if you really go back and watch the Karate Kid movies, the originals, the bad guys in those movies are psychotic. They are out of their goddamn minds. Every single villain in the Karate Kid trilogy, the original, even the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank, they are such crazy psychotics. I really think that they're part of some ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. I'll have to do. I want to sit down and do a Karate Kid segment. I'll talk about all 4 movies. I'm not doing the remake because the remake, who cares about that? You can't beat the originals. But yeah, Optimus Prime would fight the Cobra Kai Dojo, all of them. I'd love to see John Kreese look at Johnny and sweep the leg, sweep his leg, Johnny, no mercy. One of the better ones I had was Al Bundy from Married with Children versus Jesse Katsopoulos from Full House. That was always one of my personal favorites because I guess Jesse Katsopoulos was considered the tough guy of Full House, and you had Al Bundy, who was just awesome no matter what he did. And I would always joke all Al would have to do is mess up Jesse's hair, and the fight would be over. And everybody was like, yeah, Al Bundy would totally kick the shit out of Uncle Jesse. You never know. Uncle Jesse could be a tough guy. What? There's so many more I could. I feel so dumb because I had all these written down too. This was a long time ago though. I hadn't recently. Right off the top of my head, I could think of Smaug from the Hobbit movies, Desolation of Smaug. The giant dragon. He could fight Godzilla. I think that'd be a good fight. He could even fight King Ghidorah, because if you don't know Godzilla, King Ghidorah is basically a 3-headed dragon. So you had Smaug, who is a dragon, fighting King Ghidorah, who is a 3-headed dragon. Brilliant. Who else could fight? You just have to think of just contrast in styles, kind of like Deadliest Warrior did. It makes no sense, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense. You could have. Oh shit. Okay, how about this? Gordon Ramsay versus John Taffer. Hell's Kitchen versus Bar Rescue. Head to head, baby, yeah! Why would they be fighting? I don't know. Maybe John Taffer came to save one of Gordon Ramsay's kitchens. And Gordon Ramsay didn't like that at all. God. Shit. Like Darth Vader. Who could Darth Vader fight? Damn it. Darth Vader could fight. shit. The Joker. Darth Vader versus the Joker. Why not? Does it make sense? No. Tucker and Dale could fight the zombies from Cowboys versus Zombies. Yeah. You could have Vic Mackey from The Shield fight Jax from Sons of Anarchy. It writes itself. You just got to think about it. God, I wish I would have remembered all this. And you could have, here we go, Barbie versus the Brats. You know, the Brats were the dolls with attitude that gave Barbie a run for her money. Have Barbie be super fucking pissed at the Brats and beat the shit out of them. This is my turf, bitch. And the Brats would be like, yeah, right. We've got attitude. No, we have bratitude. The Volturi. Who could the Volturi fight? Oh, shit. Oh, I do remember one that I do. Blade, the vampire hunter, versus Edward Cullen. Or the entire Cullen family. And now, okay, how about this? Buffy the Vampire Slayer versus the Volturi. Fanfiction ahoy! Yeah. I could totally see Michael Sheen walking up to Buffy. Oh, yes! You must be that Slayer we've heard so much about. Staked a few of my subjects, have you? Oh my. Well, we certainly can't have that. Like Buffy would stab one of them in front of Michael Sheen. He'd be like, God. Skeletor versus Cobra Commander. Because they're both evil. They both suck. Either one of them was worth a shit. I'm looking over at my DVD rack. I'm trying to figure just some. Like, even Celebrity Deathmatch was doing that with the claymation, but some of those actually had, like, relevance to it. Celebrity Deathmatch had, like, Steven Tyler versus Mick Jagger. You know, you gotta think outside the box. You gotta think of, you know, the Easter Bunny versus Santa Claus. Yeah. Why not? Why the hell not? God damn, I'm drawing a complete blank. But you get my point. These versus thing, you could just sit down all night with your friends and drink and go through all this. Like, who would win in a fight? You know, who could possibly win in a fight like that? Damn it, I really wish I could remember some of these. Ernest P. Worrell versus Tim Taylor. Tim the Toolman Taylor. It makes no sense, but that's the point. Harry Potter versus Gandalf. Magic versus magic. Frodo versus Howard the Duck. That'd actually be kind of cool. Shit. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Ferris Bueller versus Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. I'd actually pay to see that. Ferris Bueller versus Zach Morris. I like it. Make that a movie. Get Matthew Broderick, Mark Paul Gloucester in a movie right the hell now. Get that made. I want that made right the hell now. Borat versus Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean would kick the shit out of him. I guarantee it. Oh, wow. This is what my life has become. I'm sitting here on a Saturday night. I am bored out of my... I have nothing to do except sit in front of my camera and talk about fantasy fights that I want to see. Here you go, wrestling-wise. Hulk Hogan versus John Cena. The two Supermen. Neither one of them would lose. It ended up being like a double disqualification or something. Because we can't have either one of them lose. Honey Boo Boo versus the guys from Duck Dynasty. There you go. I Want to Marry Harry versus Teen Mom. That's so stupid. But at the same time, you kind of want to see it. Oh well. I'm just rambling, and I'm wasting so much time. I know I am. There's a certain other ones that I want to do, but I'm saving that for another video. I don't know if I'll shoot that tonight or not. I might. Because I'm on a roll here. So, yeah. If you have any ideas, or if you can think of any more verses, write them down. Put them in the comments section. I'd love to read them. I'd love to hear your ideas too, because we could just keep this going forever. What? God, I had to think of some more. It's killing me right now. I can't. Again, I'm looking at my DVDs, and I can't think of any. Who could Jason Voorhees fight? Hey, we already did Freddy versus Jason. Jason can fight somebody else. It has to be something like Strawberry Shortcake or something. Okay, now I'm just rambling. Yeah. All right. I'll get to my other one next time. I'll continue the fantasy warfare type deal. But it'll be a little bit more polished than this. But yeah, I want to see Ferris Bueller and Zach Morris. I definitely want to see that. Terminator versus Robo-Croc. Yeah, I want to see the Terminator versus Robo-Croc. I haven't even seen Robo-Croc, but Tucker and Dale versus the guys from Deliverance. There you go. There you go. Or no, they have to fight a bunch of preppies because it's contract. They could fight the Mean Girls, that Lindsay Lohan movie. They could fight the Mean Girls. That'd be funny as hell. So, yeah. All right, I'm gonna cut tape. I need another drink. I'll probably call it a night. I don't know, but stay tuned for part 2 of my fantasy warfare. I hope you enjoyed it, because I'm fumbling over everything so much right now, and I don't know. Hey, if it makes you feel better, if one person laughs at it, it's all I care about. So, I'll see you next time for part 2. Catch you later.